forgot to get the screen up, guys. I forgot to get the screen up, guys. You want to save now? Start. Second part's going to be saved. So we got some stuff to review with you guys. And if you guys follow me over to the next aspect of the situation. Why is this not working? Oh, you know why? That's gonna be fun. Cancel. I went double live. I want to see how this goes though. I messed up one last time. That'll be the last time I mess that up. I forgot to put my screen up, guys. I forgot to put my screen up, guys. I forgot to put my screen up, guys. Oh, yes, I did. Oh, yes. Yes, I did. Oh, yes, I did. I forgot to put my screen up, guys. I forgot to put the screen up, guys. Got to put the screen up, guys. Oh, yes, I did. Oh, yes, I did. Oh, yes, I did. What's up, everybody? Welcome to WTFFN, Work Till Friday Fake News. I'm going to be able to do the audio test, and because I no longer stream on Twitter, man, it's crazy. Why would you have to pay to put content on Twitter? It don't make a lot of sense to me. But if it makes sense to you guys, let me know. Let me know, because I need to know what's going on right now. I'm live. So, we want to get this story going. We're going to get this day going. We're going to get these live streams going. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff going on in the world. And if you guys join me over for the after show on WTFFN.com, which actually is probably just going to be on Rumble. You guys, I messed up. I forgot to do that part. I forgot to do that part. Huh? I can hear the audio working right. And we got a lot of stories to review. A lot of stories to review. A man, a bike, fun. Police search for evidence to solve the killing of United Healthcare CEO on the streets of New York. That's one of the biggest, deepest stories. I did a lot on it. So I'll probably talk about it after they release a dude's information or something. Trump calls for immediate Ukraine ceasefire. Okay. Let's get into this. That's good. We can always look forward to when they're trying to turn down rhetoric. They're trying to stop things from happening that aren't savory. So, Paris, December 8th. That was yesterday, I believe, right? Yeah. No, that's today. That was today. Earlier today. December 8th, U.S. President-elect Donald Trump called on Sunday for an immediate ceasefire in negotiations between Ukraine and Russia to end the madness, prompting Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and the Kremlin to list their conditions. Trump made his comments just hours after meeting Zelensky in Paris for the first face-to-face talk since Trump won last month's U.S. election. I thought Zelensky went down to Mar-a-Lago. That's not really adding up to me. Is that adding up to you guys? Probably not. Oh, hold on. I'm supposed to look at the camera. I'm learning how to do some of this stuff. Trump made his comments just hours after meeting Zelensky in Paris for the first face-to-face talk since blah, 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 blah. I already said that. Zelensky and Ukraine would like to make a deal and stop the madness, Trump wrote on the social media platform Truth Social, adding that Kiev had lost some 400,000 soldiers. Will Trump be allowed to still post on Truth Social after he becomes president? I wonder. There should be an immediate ceasefire and negotiations should begin. I know Vladimir well. Which one? Which one? I get confused because they're all named Vladimir these days. This is his time to act. China can help. The world is waiting, Trump added, referring to Russian President Putin. Trump in Paris for the reopening of Notre Dame Cathedral sat down with Zelensky on Saturday for about an hour, along with a host of President Emmanuel Macron. And he's on a mandate. Just remember, he's on a mandate. Trump and Zelensky shook hands and smiled, but it was unclear how the conversation had gone. The accounts of the talk from French and Ukrainian sides said both the discussions had been good and productive. Zelensky reacted to Trump's message on Sunday, saying peace was not just a piece of paper but needed guarantees. When we talk about effective peace with Russia, we must first and foremost talk about effective guarantees for peace. Ukrainians want peace more than anything else, he wrote on X. Well, I'm not on X no more. You know what X wants you to pay to post on there? Like, what? I gotta pay to put a video on X? Nah, we ain't doing that. I was paying for the AI portion. When the AI cranked down, when the AI stopped working, I had no need to be on X no more. Especially, like, I don't think TikTok's bad. Go scroll TikTok for a little bit, and then go scroll X for a little bit. You're going to be like, woo. It's just another side of the same coin. In the war cannot simply end with a piece of paper and a few signatures. A ceasefire without guarantees can be reignited at the moment, as Putin has already done before. To ensure that Ukrainians no longer suffer losses, we must guarantee the reliability and peace and not turn a blind eye on occupation. Oh, so you got a job now. It appeared Trump figured 400,000 Ukrainian soldiers lost in the war meant both killed and wounded. Zelensky said 43,000 soldiers had been killed in the war and that there had been 370,000 wounded. Whew. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov, I don't know these Russian names, can convene a conference call with reporters to address Trump's comments. Peskov said Russia was open to talks, but they had to be based on the agreements reached in Istanbul in 2022 and on current realities on the battlefield, where Russian forces have been pushed forward at their fastest rate since the early days of the war in 2022. Putin had repeatedly that the preliminary agreement reached between Russia and Ukrainian negotiations in the first weeks of the war at talks in Istanbul, which have never implemented, could serve as the basis for future talks. Our position on Ukraine is well known, said Provak. The conditions for an immediate stop to hostilities were set out by President Putin in his speech to the Russian foreign minister in June of this year. It is important to recall that it was Ukraine that refused and continues to refuse negotiations. Woo. He said Putin has said the Ukraine must not join the NATO military alliance and that Russia should be left fully in control of 4 Ukrainian regions. his troops partially control at the moment for a peace deal to be done. Dun, 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 dun. Peskov noted that Zelensky had banned contracts with the Russian leadership through a special decree, which Peskov said would have to be revoked if talks were to proceed. Well, I guess you guys don't want peace that bad now. Additionally, reporting for Vox, and then they said who wrote it. But if you guys don't know what you're watching a live show. This is WTFFN, Work Till Friday, Fake News. I'm putting the fake back in because I don't think fun was a good thing. I think having an explanation of what WTF means is a little bit better, but I'm putting the fake back in there because I like exposing what's fake and what's real in the real world on a regular basis. I'm your host. My name's Ant. And yeah, I'll be chopping these segments down throughout the day. I may actually come in for part of the live stream at different points. Like, my plans. I want to have a 9 a.m. live show, if not 8 a.m., right? Have that little live show. That's going to be the one that I'm always live on. I'll be sitting there gathering the news. We'll be breaking down the news together. It's not going to be that clean. It's not going to be that polished. Throughout the day, I'll be uploading new segments to everything going on, right? So we're going to take the news segments. We're going to upload them. When I have these uploaded videos, I'll start compiling them together. Come around like 1-ish. Have the news put together or whatever. And then the other stories will play after we put some news together. At the end of the day, around 10, I might be live for like 15, 20 minutes. But then we're going to compile the whole news show together. So at times, I will not be reading comments because we're in a news studio. I don't think it's really appropriate to be reading the comments throughout the whole news studio, messing up the news for other people. And also because I'm chopping out segments. At the end of the live streams, I do want to bring everybody in for questions and answers. And if you guys have anything that's knowledgeable, if you know any news stories breaking, please be free to talk about them in the comments so I can sit there and try to find reputable news sources, not X. Well, I might pull up some stuff on X, but like, honestly, I'm done with X. I'm done with X for the same reason why I'm done with TikTok, right? I see X and TikTok as competing for the same thing, right? TikTok, a lot of people online like to call it woke, but that's diminishing the meaning of the word woke. I prefer the term WJT plus with a WJT set, right? So you got the WJT set on the left, and then on the right, you got people suffering from the base brain bug. It's a term I coined myself, right? The base brain bug, also known as base heads, are just the people that want to do the complete opposite of everybody from the WTG set. So you have the base heads over here. It's like everything they say is wrong. I'm gonna do the complete opposite. And then you got people from the WTG set, formerly known as woke, but not really. And they're just competing to try to be the opposite of each other, right? That's not how society can work. Sometimes the people you call woke are going to be right. Sometimes the base heads are going to be right. But the difference is, you guys really need somebody that can see through the middle and cut through and try to like, I don't even know. I just know it's been crazy. A lot of people can't see that both sides can be wrong at the same time. You can both be wrong at the same time. Usually, in a disagreement, nobody's right. Or it wouldn't be a disagreement. Somebody's right on one thing and they're trying to push the one thing they're right about. And somebody's right on the other thing and they're trying to push the thing they're right about. So then they start going back and forth, right? And they're just rambling a whole bunch of talking points that have nothing to do with the subject. But one point of their whole talking point on both sides is what both sides need to see to come to an even compromise and figure out how we can move forward and make things right. The path to success is a straight and narrow path. The Serato Mr. King, right? You want to go down this straight and narrow path. If you start to fall off or slip on either way, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. That's why I don't like political parties. I don't. I feel like political parties is part of the reason why we're at where we're at now. Nobody wants to listen to the other side unless it's to make fun of them and say what they're doing is wrong. If the other side picks something or says something's right, I don't know, guys. I really don't know. Maybe I'm not the type of person qualified to do stuff like this, but I'm going to keep doing it because somebody got to. Somebody got to do what needs to be done. I'm just trying to find a good light pattern. No, I don't think that worked good. Honestly, I feel like the green light does the best. I feel like the green light surprisingly does the best for this. So, okay. We're going to get into this. We already spoke on the ceasefire agreements they're talking about pursuing in the Middle East. Let's see, what do we have trending in the past 4 hours? There's a lot of stuff trending. The Panthers and the Eagles are trending. Okay. The Eagles better be winning. Bowl game announcements. Which bowl? 2024 bowl games live. Okay, I think that's for the college footballs. I've never watched college football. I'm never going to watch college football. The FDA banned food dyes. Finally? We're not paying you, The Guardian. U.S. Food and Drug Administration's move to ban red food dye. The FDA is taking steps to ban Red 3, which is derived from oil, amid concerns about its health effects. I thought RFK was crazy when he was talking about stuff like this. The red food dye that is ubiquitous in American drinks, snacks, and candies and cereal may finally be banned by the federal government after years of concerns that it has adverse health impacts practically upon children. The Food and Drug Administration has said that it could soon act to crack down upon the additive known as Red 3, derived from petroleum and used to provide a cherry red coloring to the array of foods. Ooh. I didn't know Red 3 was derived from oil. With Red 3, we have a petition in front of us to revoke the authorization board, and we're hopeful that in the next few weeks we'll be acting on the petition. Jim Jones? That's not a good name. We're going to be taking advice from Jim Jones about what we're supposed to be doing? Are you guys serious? Do you know who Jim Jones is? The FDA's Deputy Commission for Human Foods told a U.S. Health Secretary Committee on Thursday, or the U.S. Senate Health Committee on Thursday. Red 3 is used in nearly 3,000 food products, according to the database by one environmental health group, including Pez, Peeps, Betty Crocker products, and Double Bubble chewing gum. I'm just going to take it out. Like other food dyes, it adds nothing in nutritional value and is used instead to add color to foods for marketing purposes. So it only makes the food look better. While the FDA said that this food dye, like other such approved additives, is safe to consume if done so correctly, Red 3 has been found to be chronological in animals and has been banned for use in cosmetics since 1990. So you're not even allowed to put this stuff on your face, that they're putting it in the candy. Wow. Public health groups also linked to behavioral problems in children. Pressure is now building upon the FDA to ban the food dye along with others that are routinely provided warning labels or are banned in the European Union, yet allowed freely in the U.S. Last year, California banned 4 food dyes, including Red 3. Robert Kennedy Jr., Donald Trump's pick to be the next health secretary during his second presidency, has linked such food dyes to cancer and has been critical of the FDA for allowing certain substances in food. So it appears that they're trying to fix some of these issues. They're trying to fix some of these issues before the issues become issues. I'm actually kind of happy about that. I'm happy that they're taking the initiative to make these fixes before RFK even comes in office. That's a job well done. There is simply no reason for the chemical to be in our food except to entice and mislead customers by changing the color of their food so it looks more appealing. So it don't even have a taste to it. Frank Pallone, a Democrat who is a ranking member of the U.S. House Energy Committee, wrote to the FDA about Red 3 recently. With the holiday season in full swing, where sweet treats are abundant, it is frightening that this chemical remains hidden in the foods that we and our children are eating. You see? It's a bipartisan thing. It's bipartisan. Ain't that what everybody wanted all these years? You want bipartisan? Well, we got some bipartisan in making our food healthier. And then the Guardian's talking about how they're going to stop Trump. Okay. Now they just want to stop Trump. They're like, Trump's a bad guy. Well, I thought you just said he had a good point. And that's why I keep saying we need to tone down this rhetoric. Like, if you're talking about banning stuff that the Trump administration wants to ban, why are you guys trying to raise money to stop Trump? Why don't you try to talk to this man and raise money so you can get in front of him some more, right? And present your ideas. And maybe if your ideas are good, he'll pick up on some of them. Like banning Red 3, banning Yellow 5. Some stuff can be bipartisan, you know? You don't have to like the man's attitude and like how the man conducts himself to understand that sometimes he does good things. A bad person can do good things. A good person can do bad things. Nobody sees the nuances no more, though. Now, I want to check this because it's looking like we got a schedule coming up. That was just my test to see if my appointment scheduling will work. I got to look at my calendar to see if anybody else scheduled any appointments, though. No? If you guys need any editing services, I got a website, passionservice.com. And we can help you edit. You can schedule a call back, or you could fill out a request for web-based services. That's more in line with the people that need websites built, different stuff for e-commerce stores, or if you have a restaurant, you need menus redone, new logo designs. Do you need your website to have your DoorDash or your Uber Eats in the website so they can just order off their phone on your website? I'm also learning a little bit about app development too. So, yeah, if any of that stuff sounds interesting to you, or you're trying to learn how to do some of the video edits that I do on some of my short form content, hey, just remember, we can work together. We can make a way every single day. Let's get to the next story before I open something up. Texas versus Clemson. Word manual. Okay, that's more. The Sugar Bowl, Ohio, Tennessee. Barry Odom. Kirk Cousins. 76ers, Steelers, Brown. Bucky Irving. It's all football right now. But this time of the day, that's what's going to be the most trending is football. Let's look for the past 24 hours on trends. And I might do a long form video for my other channel for the Passion Services to actually show you guys how to find some of these trending topics. But you see me doing the Google Trends, right? So, this is how you found the trending topics. We covered Syria last night. Clemson, Gunner Stockton, Seattle, Jets, Falon versus when are the bowl games? Indy. What are they talking about? Indy. Pedestrian stuck. Oh, pedestrian. Pedestrian. Indianapolis police are investigating after a man was struck and killed by a car in downtown Indianapolis Sunday morning. According to Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department, just before 3:30 a.m., officers responded to the intersection of West 10th Street and North Illinois Street on a report of personal injury accident. When officers arrived, they found a car had struck a male pedestrian. Police said he was transported to a local hospital in critical condition. So, yeah. If you did a hit and run, you might as well turn yourself in because they're going to find you way quicker than they find the dude that killed the United Healthcare CEO. Penn State, Ashley Song. That's more football stuff. Willie Adams, Tiffany Haddish. What's wrong with Tiffany Haddish? Tiffany Haddish celebrates this season in slouchy Christmas Louboutin knee-high boots at Nordstrom's flagship holiday event. Okay. So it's just talking about her outfit. I thought there's going to be a little bit more to it. Monopoly money. Oh, it's about the thing going on in NY. Yeah. Like I said, I'm about to do some more kind of long form. Well, not even long form. It's going to be more short form because primarily what I do is live streams. So I'm going to do a more long form version of a shorter long form. Might even just be a short. I'm just trying to find the app that you can download and get paid to return the city bikes. So I can show you guys how easy it is to find and retrieve these city bikes. And I have no clue why the police couldn't do it. We talked about the food dye bans, UFC results, SMU schedule, word, Anthony Smith, oh, that's the UFC dude, F1 standings, it's Sugar Bowl, athletics, Barry Odom, and that's, more sports. There's plenty of sports channels on here. This is more like finding politics and giving an honest take on it. And rest in peace, Kyle. Kyle Burks, a star, dies at 26. He's from a strange loop. I keep yawning. I'm a little bit tired. Okay, we got the Ukraine thing. Trump sticks by tariffs won't guarantee inflation impacts. Okay. What? Are you serious? Listen, this is not the same thing as pardoning Hunter Biden, right? A lot of you guys are like, because Joe Biden because Joe Biden pardoned Hunter. Since Joe Biden pardoned Hunter, that means we need to let the J6 people go. No. Pardoning all of the J6 people was added a question. Some people really came there, really broke out windows, or really started a riot that day, right? Do I think they should pardon the people that were inside? No. Now, there's some people that got charged with the J6 situations that weren't around because they were talking about it in message boards online and stuff. Yeah, they should definitely get pardoned. If you weren't on the scene, you weren't even in D.C. on that day, and somehow you got lumped up in the charges, oh yeah, they should definitely pardon you, right? But even the people that went through, like they just came in and they seen everybody that was flipping out and they were all sitting there doing whatever in the house on that day, I don't think they should be pardoned. I don't. You guys can hate me for it. You guys can sit there and say whatever you want. But them J6 people, they don't deserve to be pardoned. Now, if they're charged with stuff that's other than trespassing, right? I can say pardon them. The people that aren't actively busting out windows or fighting with the police or stealing stuff in there, pardon them for the stuff that they didn't do. There's a lot of people that got charged with stuff that they didn't do. If for some reason people for trespass, you can even commute all their sentences. They've been in jail for like 5 years at this point, right? So I say commute, which commute means, oh, you went to jail for 20 years. We're going to let you out now. You're going to do the rest on probation. But why should they have their felonies removed? Like, they knew damn well you wasn't supposed to be walking through the house. You weren't supposed to just be in there taking pictures. Like, what? That's like, okay, a lot of people will be online or whatever talking about, oh, well, it wasn't worse than the 2020 riots or whatever. Okay, but the people that was rioting in 2020 should also be locked up. The people that broke into Target and were stealing stuff at a Target and Walgreens and CVS and everything and was busting out the windows, they should be locked up. Now, the people that walked in there were just taking pictures of people from the inside of them stores, they should still be charged too. They knew they was trespassing. You know you can't go to Target at 1 o'clock in the morning. You can't go through Target at 1 o'clock in the morning. Even if you're just live streaming so you can show it on YouTube and show what everybody else is doing in there, you're still trespassing. You're still trespassing. Should they be in jail forever for that? Nah, they should have probably got like 6 months to a year for it, right? But they should go through the same process as everybody else that ends up having felonies and getting them removed. If you think it's ridiculous that felons don't have the same rights as regular citizens, do something to change that law. Do something to change that law. Don't just sit there and pardon your side. Like, let's not be two-sided with it. What is the point of pardoning everybody from January 6th? You don't want to pardon all of them. You don't realize that there was actually people that came down there just to agitate the situation that weren't even Trump supporters? There was people at the J6 riots. You want to keep calling it protests. But there was people at the J6 riots, because that was definitely a riot, right? That came there intending to riot and stir up conflict. They said there was a lot of people that started up that riot that was from the little Antifa Nazi group or whatever. I think Antifa and the neo-Nazis is the same group. They just call themselves something different when they're around different groups of people. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. They dress the same exact way. They do the same exact stuff. They say the same exact talking points. Like, I remember I keep seeing one of the dudes the Kyle Rittenhouse dudes hit or whatever. Bald-headed white dude sitting there flipping out, calling people the N-word, and then Kyle Rittenhouse shot him. And then they had everybody thinking, oh, he killed black. No, he killed 3 white supremacists that, well, I don't even call them white supremacists. He killed 3 white subordinates. One person was sitting there causing a whole ruckus. He was throwing stuff at people, sitting there trying to turn a peaceful protest into a riot while screaming the N-word at the top of his lungs. And he got shot for it. Like I said, I'm middle of the road. I can see the nuance of stuff going on, right? But then people were so mad about them dudes in Georgia or whatever that they got charged up with it because they lynched somebody. You can't chase somebody down the road and try to hang them up or whatever, or try to just beat them up and shoot them. Those are 2 completely different stories. And the thing is, a lot of these media companies will sit there and try to conflate these stories, and they try to on their side. 9 times out of 10, these people you're putting on your side wasn't on your side in the first place. They wasn't on your side until they realized you were trying to help them out, and then they just played along with the role. They played along with the role. I don't want to be on your side. I don't want to be on your side. I don't want to be on your side. I'm comfortable being in the middle of the road and being me. This is WTF fake news. Work till Friday fake news, where we try to take the fake out of news. I want to expose everybody from the WTJ set or WTJ, WJT, however you want to put it. You know, what does the W stand for? These white lefties. What does the J stand for? I can't even say it on here. What does the T stand for? Use common sense. Because they done kicked the L's, the B's, and the G's out of their little gang a long time ago. And now it's just, you can call it the Rainbow Mafia or whatever. You got a lot of people that's like, it's crazy, yo. It's crazy. Both sides is becoming crazy. I'm still here in the middle. I'm still here on the middle of the road, right? I'm Muslim, so I identify with more conservative values for myself because I'm Muslim. But 9 out of 10 of these based heads, not base heads, not like crackheads, I'm saying based heads. They want to be like, oh, that's base, that's base, that's base. You say base like, fucking, like, yo. Politics is not gangs. Y'all turning politics into gangbanging. I'm getting tired of gangbanging. I'm getting tired of the gangbanging. Why do you want to pardon all the January 6 people? Pardon the people that wasn't in D.C. that day. That was sitting there talking about maybe going, that never showed up, right? That weren't encouraging violence. Pardon the people that got charges worse than trespassing, that got conspiracy to all the other crazy stuff going on in there. Pardon them for them, but keep the trespassing on them. They knew they weren't supposed to be in there. You know you ain't supposed to be in there. Just like we know people weren't supposed to be live streaming in Target while everybody was stealing stuff at a Target, right? Like we know these little white dudes with their skateboards dressing all black weren't supposed to be running around, throwing water bottles at people and stuff, stirring up them 2020 protests. We know that, like it's just common sense at this point. It's common sense, right? So what you gonna do? You gonna free everybody from J6 and then go try to retroactively lock up everybody involved in the 2020 protest? Can't we just have like a middle of the road approach? And if you think it's wrong that the people that went into the Congress protesting on that day that weren't really there to riot, but they knew they weren't supposed to be in there, the trespassers, right? Because they're not even protesters. The protesters were outside of the building, right? The protesters shouldn't be locked up because they never went inside. The trespassers should still have felonies. Now, if we want to pass some type of law that after 7 years off of probation, after 10 years off of probation, 20 years off of probation, you get your rights back, let's talk about that. But let's stop pardoning people that's on our side. Like, it's not making sense. It's not making sense. Pardoning everybody involved with January 6th is not the same thing as pardoning Hunter Biden. It's not. It's never going to be the same thing. Hunter Biden is Joe Biden's son. Now, I recently found out he only pardoned him back to 2014, and Hunter Biden lived a long life of getting high and breaking the law. So that kind of changes my opinion on that a little bit. Because Joe Biden should have pardoned that man for his whole life, for all crimes he did in his whole life, if he really was backing your son. But to pardon your son, to sit there and do something for your son, your child, and I'm not saying he's a child, I'm saying he is Joe Biden's child, okay? Like everybody listening to me right now, he's somebody's child. Him pardoning his child, his baby, you know? Everybody listening to me. Your mom and your dad said, you're always going to be my baby, right? You be coming home for the holidays now at this point. You be sitting there. You grew up. You're doing your whole thing, right? You got your own house. You're paying your own bills. You're living your own life. You're doing your own bigger and better things, right? But your mom and dad still call you their son. They still call you their boy, their daughter, their baby girl, their baby boy, right? You're their child. You will always be their child. So that's Joe Biden's child. And the only people that can't understand that probably don't have children. Or they're just like, scary. It's scary that the base heads is trying to equivalate pardoning everybody from January 6th to pardoning Hunter Biden, right? So now with Trump saying this, that means Joe should go and pardon everybody from the 2020 protest. Does that make too much sense? Because that's what we're starting. That's what we're starting to do. And there was people that actually did bad things during them protests. There was people that was really running into Target and stealing everything in Target. Walgreens had been shut down and will never reopen from some of them protests. People were getting killed during them protests. You can't just blanket pardon everybody. Be like, oh yeah, they're on my side. Like what? So Joe Biden before he leaves office to just write down, I'm a pardon everybody that's, matter of fact, let's just pardon the whole country and start with a clean slate, right? Let all my friends and all my family that's been locked up for years on years on years on end, let all of them get the frick out of jail, right? Let them all come to frick home. And we just start over. Give everybody a clean slate. Oh yeah, people on death row. Hey, it's cool. We're just gonna let everybody go. We're just gonna let everybody go now at this point. Don't they sound stupid to you? You don't realize how stupid some of you guys sound? We gotta stop taking sides. Stop it. Stop taking sides to things that don't pertain to you. 9 out of 10 of these dudes that you're sitting here, you're like, oh, blah, blah, this and that. They don't know you. They don't care about you. You're just a useful tool to them. Stop being that tool. You're a tool, right? The WJT set and the base heads are just tools. Stop being a tool. You don't want to be a tool today. And on that, this is a portion from a live segment on my WTF Fake News, Work Till Friday Fake News. We're on all platforms but X and TikTok because X is just right wing. I don't even consider them right wing though. They're base heads. They're suffering from the base brain bug, right? And then the people on TikTok, they're suffering from, they're in that WTJ set, what a lot of you guys try to call woke, but it's not woke. Woke is like what a lot of these people, before they went real extreme trying to be based, that's the definition of it, right? They acknowledge that there's corruption in politics, that the politicians are against us, most government offices are against us, right? And that's only about 10% of the population. 10% of the population is making 90% of the population suffer for their benefit. And only about 5% of the population realize that it's happening. That's where woke comes from. I'm not even going to keep letting you guys sit there and try to diminish that word. We need some better terminology. Be original. Like I did. I came up with basehead. You guys just took their word. Not even their word. You took a word you heard somebody say, probably somebody like Dr. Umar Johnson, and tried to make it something bad. When 90% of the stuff Dr. Umar Johnson talks about are real solutions. Opening up more businesses in urban communities. Open up schools for black kids so they don't have to deal with the public school system. You guys have the same solutions, but a different ideology to it. Why don't we just come together and come up with some good solutions? Why aren't they coming together? You guys want to fund school choice, fund charter schools? Why don't you guys open up this school that Dr. Umar Johnson keeps talking about opening and let him be a director in there? And give it the government funding, and if it underperforms, you guys want to start shutting down a lot of these public schools anyway. So give other people a chance. Do something different. Do something different. Because all I keep seeing is it's like, no matter what side you look on this, right? You got people that are a mild opinion, and you got people that are extreme opinion. The people with a mild opinion are basically saying the same exact thing. They're saying the same exact thing with a different packaging on it, right? People like Brandon Tatum and Dr. Umar Johnson are basically saying the same thing. They have the same solutions, but they have a different ideology to it. So, we just got to work together to come up with some solutions, right? But at the end of the day, a lot of the stuff I keep seeing is ridiculous. It's ridiculous on so many levels. On so many levels. On so many levels. You guys try to equate like, why would you give a blanket pardon? You're going to pardon everybody in there? No. I wouldn't even pardon them. The people that trespass, commute. Let them out early, but let them keep their felony status. And with that, I'm out. I'm about to be on to the next segment, but I had to do a nice little closing for it. I want to see if anything's up in the thing or whatever. Somebody says skibbity. Okay, I don't know what skibbity means. What, skippity doo dah, skippity day, my oh my, what a wonderful day. Wonderful feelings. Oh, hooray. Oh yeah, they're still talking about the man on the bike, and like I keep saying, you can't just get away on a city bike. Getting away from a crime on a city bike is like getting away from a crime on a city bus. It's impossible. We already reviewed the ceasefire. Rep Conan, U.S. should be moving towards Medicare for all cure. I don't agree with Medicare for all. Because when you start having Medicare for all, that means they're going to end up having it to a point where, like, Medicare for all is not going to work, guys. It's not. It's sadly, that's going to be our last segment on here. And then I got to be able to edit this up. I'm only going to have 3 stories for today. But, you know, we be working out stuff. We be figuring out stuff as time goes on. You guys are going to like the edits. So when you come back in, don't feel like you're watching the same video again just because it starts off similar, right? I got the top screen, the bottom screen. I know how to edit. But Medicare for all. This is why Medicare for all will fail every time, right? It's going to boost up, like, the government has unlimited money. They have the unlimited sources to pay for stuff, right? Medicare in general is ruining health coverage, is ruining health premiums, health prices, right? Okay, I don't have insurance. I don't think I'm ever going to have insurance. Why? Because I know when I go to the doctor and I tell them I don't have insurance, they work some magic out and I spend like $100 or $200 before I leave. Because they charge the insurance policies way too much, right? If you have insurance, they're going to charge you like $10,000 to have a tooth removed, right? And they're going to charge you like $100 copay. But if you go in there to have your tooth removed, you're going to spend like $150, $200. And do you know why? Because a lot of these, after Obamacare, a lot of these healthcare coverages that are still there are government backed. They're getting a lot of government money to have health insurance. So that government money coming to have the health insurance made it where back when a lot of our great-grandparents and some of our grandparents, depending on how old you are, maybe great-great, because there might be some really young people coming in and watching this content, they could afford to have a doctor come to their house. It was like $20 to $50 to have a doctor come to your house and have a dentist come to your house, pull your tooth out there in your home, right? Back in the day when grandpa was about to go, y'all called the family doctor out, you slipped him $20 to $50, and he did everything he could at home, and you kept grandpa home until grandpa went into the next world. People at that time had a little bit more land, a little bit more freedom, and that's why a lot of these older properties, you find cemeteries on them, because after grandpa went, they didn't call the coroner or nothing. They took grandpa out back and they put him in the ground together and cried about it. And yeah, I'm getting a little touchy talking about this stuff. This blank check that they keep giving, to the healthcare industry, is what's ruining healthcare. That's the reason why me and you can't afford healthcare services. That's the reason why me and you are having problems trying to get healthcare, trying to get health stipends. That's why everything is so expensive at this point, because healthcare is being government backed more and more. And the more government backs healthcare, the more expensive it is, because the more nobody's negotiating about it, right? Nobody's negotiating. If you can't afford it, they're not going to do it. You know what I mean? But because there's government-backed health insurances, even if you're paying out of pocket, 9 times out of 10, you're getting it from, I forget what the marketplace is. I remember I was looking at it when I was starting to pay for my own insurance. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. The last time I went to the hospital, I spent $100. When I go to the doctors, I spend $20 because I pay out of pocket. Now, I'm not no rich man. When I become a rich man, they might want a little bit more from me, but you can afford your own health care. How often do you go to the hospital? You know you can buy a cast off of Amazon. So if you go to the hospital, if you know your arm's broke, you can put your arm in a cast at home. A lot of this stuff you guys are going to the hospital for can be done at home. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I shouldn't be telling you guys to cast yourself up at home, put yourself in a splint or whatever. But honestly, you should have them resources. You guys should have a healthcare kit at your house, ready to go, so you can take that healthcare kit and get yourself ready to go to the hospital, because the hospital ain't going to save you if you pass away on the way to the hospital. Do you guys have a tourniquet at home? Do you guys have casting material? Do you guys have bandages? Do you guys have splints? Do you guys have alcohol pads, peroxide? You should. Do you guys have blood clotting agents? You should. Stuff you can go and buy at CVS. Spend $100 one time, and you're going to avoid a lot of doctor visits, right? Sometimes you need to go to the doctor. Sometimes you're going to need prescriptions, right? But 90% of the stuff people are going to the hospital for is just because they have health insurance. Stuff they can do at home. You go to the doctor, they tell you, oh, you have the flu, take Tylenol. You could have just went to the pharmacy and bought some Tylenol. Now you're getting prescription strength Tylenol because the doctor wrote a script for it, and now your insurance is spending $150 to $200 for a bottle of Tylenol that you could have bought off the shelf for $5. Come on. Like I said, simple solution. Simple solution. I want to try to get one more story, but it's Sunday. There's never a lot of stories on Sunday. Oh, so Bill Clinton's against DEI. What a surprise. A lot of you guys are surprised by stuff that's not surprising. You have not heard these people talking back in the 90s? Even the early 2000s? Like, you guys are really naive. Bill Clinton on the election, DEI, one of his regrets. Let's see. Is there any quotations from Bill Clinton? No, we just got to read all this. This is a lot to read. Well, I got my buddy right here. Hey, buddy, oh, pal, oh, buddy. What's up, buddy? Bill Clinton, New York Times, on the election, DEI, one of his regrets. Oh, buddy, oh, pal. Oh, buddy, oh, pal. Oh, buddy, oh, pal. They said, listen to this article. Why would I listen to this article? You ain't got to listen to the article? No. I'm not going to listen to y'all read the article. And they're like, oh, pay this $1 and we can read the article to you. No, guess what? Guess what? I live in the future, guys.
A month after losing the presidential election, Democrats are still unpacking what went wrong. Speaking at the Dealbook Summit on Wednesday, former President Bill Clinton blamed a lack of time. When President Joe Biden dropped out of the race, he said, nobody had a plan because nobody knew what was going to happen. He added that a primary would have been total chaos. Ultimately, he said, Vice President Kamala Harris wasn't able to adequately introduce herself as a presidential candidate. What happened was Kamala Harris was a stranger to them, he said of voters.
How was she a stranger when she was in office for 5-6 years at that point? 5-6 years at that point. How is she a stranger when she'd been in office? And then on top of that, she was a senator for 6 to 12 years before that? She ran in the primary. Listen, she almost eliminated Joe Biden from the 2020 primary election. But then Chelsea Gabbard got her real good talking about how many dudes she locked up for smoking pot.
The former president also discussed Biden's decision to grant a pardon to his son, Hunter, the Israel-Hamas war, DEI policies, his new book, Citizen, My Life After the White House, and how much voters should focus on the character of politicians. Here are 5 highlights from the conversation.
Okay. We got 5 highlights from the conversation. Let's see the first one. On Joe Biden's pardon of his son, Hunter. Let's see what Bill Clinton had to say about the pardon of his son, Hunter.
Biden had not handled some aspects of the decision well. I wish he hadn't said he wasn't going to do it, he said. It does weaken his case. But ultimately he defended the decision. I personally believe that
and I keep defending that decision too, right? Yeah. The main issue, I do kind of realize he lied about it, right? But I've been saying from the jump, you're going to have to expect him to pardon his son. If his son's about, like, who? What president is about to let their kid go to jail? I was talking to my little sister about it yesterday. She's like, oh, yeah, but if they did this or that, like, nah, that's your kid. You're going to let them out. You're going to let your kid out. Point blank period. You're going to let your kid out.
President is almost certainly right that his son received completely different treatment than he would have if he hadn't been the president's son.
Yeah, because they let him get away with it for so long. They let him get away with this for so long. Okay, Clinton on the Middle East. What does Clinton got to say about the Middle East? And you know, he let up a lot of that stuff from what was going on with. Hey, you
During
already
his
know.
time
9/11.
as president, Clinton worked to make peace between Israelis and Palestinians. He was the last president.
Well, one thing though, when Bill Clinton was still president, Palestine was a far bigger country than Israel, and it wasn't just two territories.
President to visit Gaza. At the Dealbook Summit, he referenced failed peace talks that he convened in 2000 with the Palestinian leader at the time, Yasser Arafat, and the then Prime Minister of Israel, Ehud Barak. Clinton blames Arafat for the deal falling apart, and he said that he tells young people today what Arafat walked away from, and they can't believe it. He added, I'll go through all the stuff that was in the deal and it's not on their radar or radar screen. They can't even imagine that happening. Clinton added.
Yeah, because like you can't just like there's no really justification to a lot of stuff that's going on, and that's not topics you can really talk about on here. But we're going to listen to what Bill Clinton got to say about it, because Bill Clinton was experiencing this stuff a long time ago.
Added, you walk away from these once-in-a-lifetime peace opportunities, and you can't complain 25 years later when the doors weren't all still open and all the possibilities weren't still there. You can't do it. He grew emotional when discussing his past efforts to end the Israeli-Palestinian conflict.
Because it's definitely an emotional issue. Like, you got kids on both sides. There's kids on both sides that suffer the consequences of adults using kids as shields on both sides.
Conflict. I'm an old guy. I have my regrets. That's one of them.
When we hear another one of your regrets is used to fly on this little jet. Okay, and then he had something to say on DUI. DEI. Now remember, this is Bill Clinton talking.
On attacks of DEI, Clinton said there is something to the New York Times columnist Maureen Dowd's assessment that being overly woke has hurt the Democratic Party.
Why do you guys keep using woke as an insult? See, that was just something they did, right? I'm really starting to feel like the Democrat side hid behind that word to make that word diminished. They really diminished the aspect of that word.
Party. But he defended DEI practices, which have come under fire from the right.
But woke ain't got nothing to do with DEI. Woke is realizing that 10% of the population is using 90% of the population to go at each other and carry out their will. And only 5% of the population, the woke people, realize what's going on. So woke ain't a bad word. Try to use WJT set from now on. Or the WJT plus, Rainbow Mafia. You use something a little bit different. Because woke don't hide behind the rainbow flag. Everybody that will sit there and tell you that they're woke. Like, I remember, right? Back in the day, there was this one rapper from Philly. His name's A.R.Ab, right? You could say he's woke to an extent. He came at Meek Mills and he said, Obama supports rainbow marriages. And you probably support him, right? That's a woke talking point. Not, oh, we going to do this and do, like, what? No.
Right. I've made a huge number of decisions. Therefore, I've made a not insignificant number of errors. And the one thing I believe is that diverse groups make better decisions than homogenous ones.
To a point, but you also got to remember that's because of the diversity of thinking. Because people throw around different ideas and you come to a compromise, right? You can even have a diversity of thinking with people of the same ethnicity. Diversity of thinking is a beautiful thing, right? But okay. So you got the whole Democrat side or whatever. If you got rid of all the Republicans in Congress, right? You just kept the Democrats in there, right? There really wouldn't be diversity in thinking. You would have physical diversity, but no diversity in thinking. You add somebody like Byron Donalds and Tim Scott into the mix, that's diversity on the other side, might be diversity of skin tones, but that diversity of thinking going into Congress and Senate brings a whole different aspect of different struggles. Some people will sit there and face the same struggles and have a whole different outlook on it.
He added, I think it's overblown, the anti-DEI thing, but I think if we want to keep it and we believe in diversity, we shouldn't wuss out about it.
Yeah, but why do you guys keep trying to make... See, it was the Democrats that tried to make woke seem like a bad thing. Because you actually start reading books on like what's going to define woke, what woke really means. 90% of you people that's on here talking about, I hate wokeness, will realize everything you guys are talking about was written about as being woke in the early 90s, mid 90s, early 2000s, late 2000s. But then fast forward to like 2015, 16, 17, you got a whole, like, this is craziness, y'all.
You don't have to be hateful or arrogant or all that. You just have to say, I'm sorry, I disagree. And here's why I disagree. 1, 2, 3. And there's probably plenty of room for old white guys in suits like me in any kind of rearrangement.
Maybe, maybe not. maybe not. I feel like we need to start. Yeah, there's rooms for you guys, right? To be up in here and consulting, right? You guys should be telling us what happened during your term. Well, you're not going to be president no more. So basically, like what you're doing right now. What you're doing right now is a role old white guys like you should be doing. And old black dudes. And old Spanish dudes. And old any other type of dudes you could think about, right? We shouldn't have people in politics in their 70s and 80s no more. 60 is kind of stretching it. 60 is kind of stretching it. You need dudes that are like, and females, but you need people in politics that are like, from like, maybe like 28 to like 58. That should be the majority of everybody in the Senate and in Congress. I can maybe justify the president being in their 60s, right? But when you're past retirement age, when you're over 65, why are we hiring you to run the country? Dude, you got a life alert. You have a life alert button on you. You got a life alert button. You use a hover around to get around when we're not looking at you on camera. Why are we listening to you anymore? You grew up in a whole different world than what we're living in, and a lot of you guys don't know what's going on. Don't know what's going on right now because you guys grew a certain way, right? We can still take the knowledge and wisdom from you guys, and you can be like, oh, we experienced something similar like this back in 1962. And then we can sit there and take your input on it and come up with a solution that's going to work for people now. But we shouldn't have the country being ran by people that are 70 and 80 years old. 60 is stretching it. 60 is stretching it. On the importance of character. Okay, he got something to say about Trump. And then after this one, I got something we're going to do on... Oh, you'll see. But you're going to have to follow us over to WTFFN.com.
On the importance of character.
And that being said, I'm about to start getting this stuff ready.
President-elect Donald Trump is a felon, and he and many of his cabinet appointees have faced allegations of sexual misconduct. Clinton has spoken about...
What about you, though, Clinton? What about you, old Willie? What about you? What about Monica? You should have known I was going to bring it up. You should have known she had you on a dress, and it just don't matter. You on here patronizing. We remember you. Yeah, Bill Clinton was like banging half his staff, guys. He was banging half his staff back in the day. Were we gonna listen to Bill Clinton talking about actual misconduct? Dude, that's what you got impeached. Well, you didn't get impeached, but that's what you had an impeachment hearing for. You're the wrong one to talk about this. You're the wrong one to be talking about
his
this.
own moral failings. Andrew asked him how the voters should focus on the character of political leaders. Clinton said that it matters that politicians try to do what they say will when they're running for office, and also that it depends on how you keep score. He added, character stuff does matter. But the voters have a deep-seated suspicion of letting anybody, including the press, tell them how to define character and what matters.
Exactly. Nobody wants to hear what you got to say no more. Nobody wants to hear your old white ass no more. Nah, for real though. Like sometimes he can have some good talking points, right? And I'm not going to diminish when he has good talking points. But to think you're the end all be all because you done seen it all and done it all before, dude, you don't know nothing about TikTok. Probably don't know nothing about Twitter or like the basics of it. You can't tell me what an AI model is. That's one of the biggest issues going on. If you don't know about AI, you don't know about crypto, and that's some of the biggest pushings in development and technology and the workforce now, is your opinion that valid on what's going on right now? We can learn from history. You're a part of history. You're a living piece of history that we can go back to and reflect on. Now, people like George Bush, people like Bill Clinton, even people like Obama, because Obama's getting old, right? They can help us out with cultural issues. When there's cultural divides, stuff going on with the people and how to bring the peace back amongst the people. But for you guys to have anything to say about policy is pointless. None of the policies that were relevant in the 80s and the 90s are relevant today. Back when I was a kid, right? A computer that can do what I'm doing right now, talking to you guys over the internet, would be the size of the room I'm in, if not bigger. Now these computers fit in my hand. So you don't know what's going on, bro. You don't. You don't know what's going on at all.
Matters. Because there's no such thing as a perfect person. Nobody is running a perfect life. Clinton said he was friendly with the former and future president for years, and that he had continued playing golf at his course even after Trump announced he would run against Hillary Clinton, the former Secretary of State, and his wife, for president.
And like I tell you guys all the time, they're cool. They know each other. You have more of a likelihood, right? There's more of a likelihood that they're going to put all their differences beyond them than anything you guys think or know or want to say.
President. But he said he drew the line when Trump suggested Mexican migrants were criminals and rapists. I got my golf clubs and left.
But he said, he didn't say that all of them was. He said that there's bad people coming through. Not all of them, but there is a good percentage or whatever. I don't know. I might pull that up and put that in this video.
Left. I didn't think I was a better person than him. I didn't look down on him, but I knew I couldn't live with that because I think America is a great country in part because there's somebody here from everywhere.
Okay. And that's about it. So, if you guys like content like this, consider subscribing to WTFFN. Watch our segments that come out throughout the day because I'm going to start editing it instead of you seeing up there real small and down here. I'm going to just start enlarging what's up there and mixing it with what's down here. If you guys want to see a little debate that happened on the Tim Pool podcast, matter of fact, let me throw this up on the screen for you guys so you guys can actually see what's going on. So we got this little debate that I found. And I'm going to be shooting a video for one of my other channels. I'm a little bit confused. I don't even know how this is going to work. But yeah, you guys can follow us over to Rumble if you have a Rumble account. If you don't have a Rumble account, you can watch Rumble for free. And if you guys do, and if you guys don't want to go over to Rumble for whatever reason, you can come to WTFFN.net or .com or WTFFakenews.net or .com. All leads to WTFFN.net. Work till Friday, fake news. That's the acronym if you can remember it. Work till Friday, fake news. WTFFN. Also WTF fake news. You guys want to be funny or goofy or whatever. But we got this video. I'm add a name to it. And I'm about to do some commentary for my Breaking the Echo Chamber channel. If you guys like more cultural topics or whatever, you want to see somebody sitting here making fun of all these bass heads, that's what I do over there. So we're going to sit here and get into it. I'm going to change some things on here. But you guys can join us over there in a few seconds because I'm about to cut off all these other places. Peace. See you next time.